great.
Okay, I'll get on that right now.
Awesome. All right, so good morning, everyone. For those of you who don't know, my name is Chabuka Pumba. My pronouns are she, her, and I am an empowerment associate here at Civics Unplugged. And today we are going to do a quick run through, almost reorientation around what it means to be a builder. And so this is going to be a moment where we get to explore the values and practices of what it looks like to be a Civics 2030 builder. All right, so just getting used to some language. You all used to be fellows, which is an individual who was participating in the Civics Unplugged Fellowship. And now that you've completed the fellowship, you've all graduated to become builders, which is an individual who has completed the Civics Unplugged Fellowship and is also committed to being a community member. We use the phrase builders because we believe that you guys are building the future. This is both a responsibility, but also an amazing opportunity in and of itself. All right, just diving in to explain a little bit more about what our community looks like. It's essentially made up of 4 parts. So we have builders and fellows, partner orgs, which are organizations that work alongside us. And then of course, civic champions, which are kind of adult members of the community who support CU in various capacities and in different ways. You may see us shouting out a few on Instagram. And then we have administrative assistants. So people like myself, people like Gary or Madison, if you've met them, or Luna, if you've also had the chance to meet her. And so the role of an administrative assistant is really, we're just here to support you guys in your work and kind of run things behind the scenes as well. And of course, our Slacks are always open for communication. For the most parts, our name are to contact us in Slack. It's usually our name and then from CU. All right, cool. And now I wanted to introduce you all to the Builder Code. So the code is a set of 14 principles that were created by our founding fellows. And it's really just a guide of what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. You can access the Builder Code on the Civics Unplugged website. And I'm not going to go too in depth into it right now, but as we're explaining kind of the activities that you can partake in as a builder, we'll also kind of dive into how certain activities embody certain elements of the Builder Code. All right, kicking off with the concept of the Civic Gem. So the Civic Gem is how CU directly invests in growing and investing in the civic superpowers that you all have. This is an opt-in activities and events-based program to help you grow as an individual by gaining new skill sets, knowledge, and practices. As builders, you all have access to the Civic Gem, and for the most part, all of the Civic Gem activities are in the announcements channel or the Civic Gem channel that you have all already been added to in Slack. All right, so now we're going to dive into the life of a builder. So we like to practice what we preach. We've talked about the Builder Code a little bit, and so this is what it means to actually do that through action and tangible steps. All right, so I wanted to dive into a few Civic Gym activities, what they look like, what they mean, and some of the Builder Code pillars that they support. So a lot of you have heard about Treks. It's a dialogue series that we have here at Civics Unplugged, and it's really dedicated to having meaningful discussions about anything related to a flourishing future. We have incredible guests that come through, and they're really just open-ended conversations that are truly eye-opening. Like I said before, you can sign up for these in the Slack, and this really fosters dialogue, which is a key pillar here in the Builder Code. And then second to that, we also have project jam sessions. Project jam sessions are moments where community members gather to help other members identify projects that they might want to start. And so it may be starting a project, building out an idea, growing an existing program or organization. Each session is called a jam session, and they're highly participatory. It's really just a moment to lean on the brilliance that the community has to share and kind of get some community insights on projects that exist. And so this really leans on the pillar of welcoming new possibilities. We're all kind of co-exploring and learning together, and that's what really makes jam sessions special. Another program we have is Making Sense of Media. This is a series that helps community members practice making sense of information flows surrounding current events. In an age where disinformation and information warfare are huge issues, It's never been more important to make sense of not just what's happening, but then also the tools that we use to understand what's happening. So builders essentially role play competing perspectives in media to gain a more intimate understanding of how media works in general. And then another Civic Gym activity would be democracy discourse. And so this is another dialogue series that we have, and it focuses on facilitating debates about Supreme Court cases or real legislation that exists. The ultimate goal is to create a respectful and empathetic and also productive dialogue around civil issues, especially ones that typically have points of contention or create a little bit of conflict. And this really leans on the pillar of listening lovingly. This is for those kind of heated political debates that we still want to have productive conversations around. And so listening lovingly is a really big pillar that we try to embody through democracy discourse. All right, running through a few more. On masterclasses are the official knowledge sharing series here in the community. For each installment of the series, one community member delivers a presentation on a topic that they've had some experience in. And this definitely leans on the pillar of cultivating community. A really popular Civic Gym activity is Nick's New Knowledge. It's an interactive series where Nick dives into different tenets of American democracy through a lens of current events. And this definitely is a moment to appreciate history or really contextualize current events in history. And then, of course, we have Juntos. So you all partook in Juntos throughout the fellowship, and there is the opportunity to continue to develop Juntos now that you're a member of the builder community. It is a little bit different. They are small groups that are independent and fully run by builders exclusively. And so you can make your Junto focus in on whatever it is that you find super relevant. Stay tuned because we will be releasing a form that will help you guys coordinate Juntos if that's something that you're interested in doing. But yeah, Juntos are an incredible opportunity to kind of have a small group that's with you on your civic journey, able to hold you accountable, then also talk about yourself in a variety of capacities. And so these are just the current Civic Gym activities that we have offered. Civic Gym is something that's developing out in our community, but some future Civic Gym activities will include things along the lines of personal development, systems thinking, civic literacy, social entrepreneurship, community building, and historical literacy. These are all programs that are in development. So if there's any of these that you're super interested in, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get a Slack message from you as we kind of build out some of these programmings. Your ideas are super key in this process. And so we'd love if you'd like to take lead or are really interested in leaning into one of these Civic Gym concepts, please reach out to me. All right. That being said, again, this is all about what it means and what it looks like to be a builder. And a lot of you guys embody the culture of being a builder and the builder code in a bit more informal ways. And so anything like taco parades and nominating future fellows or interacting in the random Slack or contributing to the opportunity Slack channel, those are all opportunities to invest in our community, to ask questions, to learn openly, to continue your civic journey. And so if you're doing any of these things, you're already acting like a builder, you're already embodying the values that we have here at CU. So by no means is this any pressure to add new tasks, so to speak. Being a builder is what you make it. And so I just wanted to shout out things like asking questions or responding to daily reflections. All of those are valid and incredible contributions to our community, and they are equally appreciated. All right. And then what's left is just the idea that the fact that we are building our community collectively. A key pillar that I didn't really speak on earlier was assuming responsibility. And that's just the understanding that you have the power to make things better. The Civics Unplugged community is equally yours as it would be mine. And so anything that interests you, things that you would like to push forward, programs that you would like to create for the community, there's an open-ended invitation to make that happen in collaboration with everyone that's here. So with that being said, I just wanted to open the floor to questions. You can leave your questions in the chat. You can unmute and I'd be happy to answer any of those questions or provide any clarification on what it means to be a builder within CU.
I have one question. If
Nope.
we would like to apply to be a junto leader, how would that process work out, especially now that we have two basically terms for the fellowship?
So applying to be a junto leader is an opportunity that will come up when the fellowship, closer to the start date of the second fellowship that happens during the year. So that will be an opportunity that will be posted in the Slack. And so you will be well aware when that happens, but staying up to date on the announcement Slack, the Civic Gym Slack, and also the transmission, which is a newsletter that you all should be receiving, is a great way to kind of stay in the know about those things. Great question though. I'm going to call on Philip.
Yes, I have an inquiry. Could you describe the process explicitly about commencing a new series such as the Democracy Discourses in Civics Unplugged?
No problem. And so when it comes to kind of launching new ideas or initiatives within the community, there's a couple of different ways that you can go about it. First and foremost, I would definitely recommend like attending and participating in a lot of community events, just in case there's overlap with your idea and an existing program. There might be an opportunity to improve or add on to it rather than starting something new. With that being said, though, you can always reach out to myself or Madison or Gary. And also we have the steering committee, which would also be a great source to kind of bringing new community-wide ideas to the table. So there's a lot of different pathways. It's really just a matter of reaching out to kind of key community leaders, which would be steering or the administrative assistants.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. Freya, you have a question?
Yeah, actually. So if I remember correctly, which I'm not sure I do, but Madison had like formed a role for herself, and director. I keep forgetting what role she plays. But like, if we want to take that path and we want to create a place for ourselves, is there a specific route to take over there, or how do we go about that?
Okay. Well, that's actually a really great question, and kind of for everyone here to provide context to Freya's question. She was kind of speaking to the fact that Madison's role was something that developed over time, and it was a role that she kind of ended up being built for her. She's currently the director of dialogue for Civics Unplugged, and that's obviously a role that's very unique to the CU community, and that speaks more so to her civic journey than to a specific pathway or like really intentional description of like a leadership role. She just found herself leaning into the community and conducting a lot of experiments and events that related to dialogue. And then that's how that kind of organically came to be. So when it comes to kind of establishing yourself in that capacity, my insight or word of advice would really just be to lean into the community, really invest in the things that you enjoy and have natural energy for, spend a lot of time there, connect with a lot of people. And again, these leadership roles and positions will kind of happen organically and as the community needs. I am in a very similar situation to Madison. My role in CU is something that's constantly evolving and is in complete alignment with just like my civic journey in general. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. All right. Any other questions? Feel free to unmute, leave a question in the chat, or raise your hand. All right then. Well, we wrapped up quite early, but again, see, it looks like there's a question. So someone asked if there will be special events or cultural affairs over the course of the summer, or does that depend on ideas or initiatives of other builders? And so again, this is something that you can definitely start or suggest or recommend to either steering. I know that there's an empowerment committee that's kind of formed within the community, and it looks like Daryl has some additional insight to that. But again, that would be an amazing initiative that we'd love to see started. Daryl, you can follow up with that.
Please excuse my really bad voice. I am currently going to. I look like a pufferfish. Anyways, steering made a. I sound so horrible. I'm so sorry. Steering made a community building committee for people that are interested in creating events to go to. Ben is chairing that. You could also go to any steering committee member for the next steering, not the old steering. You know, they're kind of lame ducks right now. But any of the new steering committee members, you can go to them about events, and you can also just hit up Chabu or Gary about an event idea, and then they'll direct you in the right direction. I'm gonna stop talking now because I sound super horrible and I'm making myself bleed. But yeah.
Well, thank you for answering that, Daryl. Again, thank you for being here. But yeah, essentially what Daryl said, if you at any point are lost or like aren't sure where to go, you can definitely Slack me, Madison, or Gary, and we'll definitely be able to point you in the right direction. Another follow-up question that was asked are what committees are there and how can we join them? As of now, there is just one committee, and it is the Empowerment Committee subcommittee that has formed. With that being said, though, more committees are being formed, and as steering establishes itself and kind of fully forms into its role, you'll be able to kind of get regular cadence announcements about different committees that are being formed. All right. And also to add to what Jahi and Daryl said, committees are formed and established through voting via steering, and there's a proposal process that exists. And you can also reach out to Jahi. She is one of the steering committee members. All right then. So any last final questions or comments or questions?
Sorry, I just have a plug, I guess, which is come to the community building committee's meetings if y'all have any like non-Civic Gym related event ideas, because you can just tell us. We're trying to work on that right now.
Yes. I'll actually be helping Ben kind of make those meetings public, and so you can drop in whenever you want if you have any ideas or just want to observe or be in the know about upcoming events that will be taking place in the community. All right then, I do believe that's everything. I will be giving you guys some of your time back, but thank you for coming through this morning. I hope this event was informative, and again, open door to any questions, whether email or Slack. We're really here to help you feel a part of this community and also find your U-shaped hole within this space. With that being said though, you all have a great rest of the day, and I will hopefully be seeing you all soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.